a mom of 3, a grandmother of 4, who is raising 3 of those grandchildren since they were 3, 5, and 7, since we lost their mother in a motorcycle accident and their father took off on them. My husband and I have been the sole guardians of those 3 babies who are now 7, 9, and 11. And I will tell you that the world is hard enough to raise children, let alone grandparents raising children, which we know in the state of Michigan there are high numbers of grandparents raising grandchildren in kinship families, that we have enough on our plate to make sure that we're protecting these kids and raising them without their mom and dad in their life and helping them face everything that's going to be pushed on them so that they are not made to be victims, so that they are made to excel and thrive and have wonderful lives and keep them innocent. We don't need our schools making it harder for us to do our job. The job that we did not automatically give birth to those children, but that we chose to be their mom and to be their dad. I want to talk a little bit about something that somebody that was presenting here, the doctor. She said that they worked with the Society for Health Education, otherwise known as SIECUS. You can write this down, SIECUS. You can go to their website, siecus.org, and you will see very clearly what they advocate for in curriculums. They believe that abstinence is failing our kids. Teaching abstinence is ineffective. They believe that teaching abstinence to children threatens the fundamental human right of sex. They believe that we should be encouraging our children safe and healthy ways to engage in sex. And in Michigan, we know that the age of consent is 16. So why would SIECUS be working with our Board of Education to teach this to 3rd graders, 8 and 9-year-olds? Yet, the Michigan State Board of Education believes that these proposed standards, that they will include abstinence, but it's barely mentioned, twice in middle school, once in high school, and each time it's presented simply as just one option and the many options on how they can engage in sex. This is hazardous to our children. This is hazardous to Michigan. Michigan law requires that this material, when discussing sex, be age appropriate. They talked a lot about children who believed to be transgender or queer being bullied. I've been serving in office for 3 years. Every phone call that comes to my office or is emailed to my office never has been from a parent whose child was being bullied for being gay or being transgender. It was for being pretty, for being smart, for being fat, for being skinny, for having blue hair, for having short hair, for having long hair. The bullying that is going on in our schools, it's a lot of economic bullying. They're making fun of children because we have kids coming in from different districts who are from different cultures, different backgrounds, different economics. Those are the kids that are getting bullied. I know of 2 cheerleaders in a school downriver that both attempted suicide because their cheer team was being mean to them. Not because they were gay, not because they were queer, not because they believed that they were a different sex, because they were being mean girls. And the school did not take it serious and did not listen to parents. I can also tell you that on a local level in the city of Taylor, they were attempting to present a rogue sex education program to parents who had to find out the hard way that their board was not even acting legally. We talk about Michigan compiled law. We talk about having a state sex ed advisory board that is comprised of the majority, over 50% parents, a clergyman, a healthcare provider, or health department person. These local districts have rogue sex ed boards that are operating and approving sex education for students that do not have parental consent and do not have the majority of parents serving on that board. So I want to give a huge shout out to Moms for Liberty in Wayne County who were able to get into that board, get that board shut down because they were not acting lawfully. So now they don't even have a sex ed advisory board. So if the good doctor that spoke earlier says that we are going to keep sex ed boards and we're going to make sure that we're keeping this parental consent in place, how in the heck do they think they're going to do that if what they've proposed is so confusing and vague now that they can't even do it when they're legally supposed to. And one last thing that I will add, there has been a lot of talk about social emotional learning and just how wonderful it is for our kids. And I do agree with my colleague, Senator. Thank you for bringing that up, because I oppose the formal adoption of social emotional learning incorporated into this framework of health in our schools, our K through 12. It's promoted in schools, but it does not have sufficient transparency, it does not have parental input, and it does not have clarity about outcomes. There has been actually a lot of resources and a lot of research in this. A review by the National Education Policy Center noted that many SEL programs are not adequately defined and that they push to make SEL central to schooling, raising issues about what exactly the role of the school is versus the role of the family, meaning we do not co-parent with the government. Critics argue that SEL programs require large investments in training and resources, and when improperly implemented, they do not deliver the promised outcomes, raising the question of whether they divert time and resources from actual academics. And one last thing, the concern also includes parental rights, the rights of a parent who gave birth to a child when that child grew inside of them. Not the Michigan Board of Education, not the teacher, not anyone serving on this committee. That mother and father birthed that child. The concern also includes parental rights. Parents have raised objections that SEL curriculum may encroach on their value system, their own characters, and their belief and their discussions, areas where families believe that they should be refraining